using Luffy's abilities, the Gum Gum powers. And yes, we get to see Joy Boy as well, the lower part of his face, in an incredible chapter of Luffy.
So when I read the spoilers for this chapter, sorry, I watched. I read pages and scans, and I've seen a few clips.
Luffy transforming
Bro,
into a
this is
genie,
insane.
Jinbei also taking on Imu, Loki waking up. Man, this chapter was nothing short of absolutely
Yeah,
wild.
it
Let's
was
get right
crazy.
into it. Be
Like,
sure to leave a like.
I'm gonna be honest. I just, as much as I am a power scaler and like a degen for just absurd stakes in these fictional stories,
Like on the video, upset so
I
much.
have
Thank
to
you very
admit
much. And of
how
course,
well
subscribe for a
written
ton of consistent and quality One Piece
this
content like
is.
this. If you love
Also,
One
we
Piece
are going to be doing
spoilers,
Hunter x Hunter
rewards,
stuff
reviews,
really
everything to do
soon.
with the manga, trust me, you're not going to regret subscribing, especially because I'm going to be posting the full scans tomorrow. Without further ado, let us begin. First of all, we have the cover page, which is some straw hats in a swimsuit. I'm seeing this Nami picture go viral everywhere, you know. And I know on the bottom right of the page, it is Joy Boy. I have a HD of this page as well. And on the bottom left, Imu says, that's right, Joy Boy is already dead. So basically confirming to us, like, Joy Boy, as a fact, did die in the Void Century. I know that's something strange to say, like, oh, we already knew that. Well, it was never actually confirmed he died. Like, maybe he could have been sealed or something, which I've never believed, but it can just finally put to rest the fact that, yes, he is just dead. Like, there is no, oh, he was sealed theories, or Luffy is, like, something related to him. It seems like they really are just two different people. In the next page, and I have some of these in HD as well, but remember, it's going to be from right to left. So the right page is the first one, left is the next, just so you don't get confused. So we can see Luffy going in for an attack, and Imu actually turns his hand with the omen into a sort of odd black flamish thing. Luffy's a bit shocked, so he stretches his head down,
This is
and
so
as
crazy.
he stretches it down, Imu mimics the powers of the Gum Gum ability, which makes sense. He's fought Joy Boy in the past, so he's been up against this, but it's pretty cool to see. And we have a HD of the left side of the page, with it just being clear as crystal. Like, this is just straight up almost like Armament Snake Man, like the way it's actually kind of entangulating, right?
You guys gotta understand how crazy this is, because up until this point, we're not surprised at what the Omen ability can do for Imu. It's what's the limit? And I am of the belief that this is like standard basic abilities. Like, this isn't related to any power that he has. This is just like standard stuff. And for him to mimic like even Gear 4 and like basic Gears abilities is just like, dude, like, again, this is maybe me like not underestimating One Piece, but I'll just say the other series I watched, not Boruto to an extent, you know, they have gods, but like Bleach, DBS with it, like they have like multi higher dimensional beings. I just wasn't expecting for an endgame villain to feel like this from a more like story based manga or shonen. But I welcome it.
Very
This
cool
is
to
crazy.
see. And then there's a huge explosion on the bottom with Luffy burnt to a crisp, but with his Looney Tunes powers, as we see in the next page, he kind of comes
Luffy's
back up.
also pretty
it reminds me a lot of when
off.
he fought Kaido and Kaido singed him with his Boro Blast. And with his Looney Tunes, he kind of makes a gag out of it, right? Where he just makes himself all charred. Well, he goes in for a punch against Imu, and I don't know if this is like a raw speed feat from Imu or a teleportation ability. The reason I'm saying this is because when Imu stabs Luffy at the end of the chapter, it almost seems like he just teleports, right? Well, whichever one it is, whether it's just raw speed or not, he goes right behind Luffy and then tries to attack him on the left side of the page, as you see, but then it just seems like Luffy actually probably vanished as well, appearing behind Imu. So Luffy was trying to mimic the same thing. He tries to attack Imu, but Imu, kind of in an insane way, he just blocks it effortlessly. Like it's not even a challenge. Like, you can just really see the huge gap in speed and strength. Like, it's almost a joke, this fight. Imu goes once again with his Omen abilities in the next page, firing them off to Luffy, and Luffy, he's not taking this fight seriously. I mean, I don't know if this is just him in Gear 5 as always, because when he was fighting Kizaru, he was taking it a bit seriously, but he's really not taking this fight seriously. I don't know if it's like the gravity of the situation hasn't settled in, because he knows that this guy's a very serious opponent, but he's playing around so much, and
Luffy
it kind of is embarrassing what happens. Yeah,
it's just
you
a
can
part
see
of
Luffy running around on the right side. Imu fires off more Omen balls, and on the top
Gear
left,
5
Luffy has those
cartoonish
Looney Tune eyes
style.
coming out. He does like a Dawn Gatlin and breaks them all apart. And then Imu's kind of stunned in the bottom left of the page, and that's because on the next page, we have Imu just stunned seeing Luffy transformed into a
Just
genie.
turned into a genie.
Now,
for
I don't
free,
really
like,
know how big Luffy was before, because Loki seemed to be just a bit bigger than the giantified Imu, and Luffy seems to be about the same size, like a bit, no, a decent amount smaller than Imu, sorry. But is that because Luffy has turned into like a giant? Because we see the trees around Luffy, like he's not that much smaller than him. So I don't know, like, is Luffy giant sized? The reason I say that is because this genie is way bigger than Luffy, who was already giant sized before, and Imu, who's giant sized. And again, we see Luffy in this double page spread compared to the forest on the top left. He's huge. Like, I think he might be bigger than Loki. He's unbelievably massive. So again, whether Imu is giantified or not, like,
when Luffy gets like, Luffy's gotten the strategic part of his powers down, and then he just like, he is in the moment with like, okay, what's a counter to this guy? Let's just test things. When he gets the conceptual part about it, it's going to be scary. There is another aspect of like what I think he's missing, but that's more so like what I think it's in the world government.
like,
maybe.
the point is Luffy's huge, but yeah,
Or rather,
Imu is
has
just
that
kind
power.
of looking at him casually. He doesn't even really react to this. It's almost like you can see he's got like dot,
Also,
dot, dot. There's no real
Jinbei
reaction.
for blocking
Luffy
the attack.
turns into a genie, and he says here, for some reason, it's like Gamu Gamu no Demon God, but the translator said, you know, that's probably wrong. It's unclear what he said, so it might be like Genie
probably
God or
Genie
something.
mode.
But what I know he says is, don't think I did not see you fighting Loki, implying that yes, Luffy was kind of watching or aware of the Loki fight with Imu. Luffy, in a very funny page, says, Loki's death won't be in vain, and Loki screams, I'm alive, you idiot, which I'm surprised he's not passed out. And Luffy says it back in response, whoa, you're alive, Loki. And Imu, it's so funny. I think Imu, he's like LeBron James. He's unintentionally funny, like just his natural self.
I am in love. I had to say this again. I am in love with Imu's entire skill set. Like, it is. I'm probably going to rewatch this chapter or the past 10 chapters for the next week. It's
because
so beautiful.
Imu doesn't react to any of this.
Wow.
He just hears the conversation. You can see he has the dot dot dots. Like, not a single word. Not like, oh, it's impressive you're alive, or how did you survive? It's not like the classic villain where it's like they praise the hero, or like they just say, oh, I gotta kill you now. He just turns and looks at him and activates his omen to kill him. It's so funny. I'm not gonna lie, it's just hilarious. I don't even think Oda
crazy,
meant
that's
for it
what
to be
it
funny,
is.
but just seeing Imu's dot 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 reactions to everything, like speechless, turns to him, and then Loki kind of shits his pants, and in the cutest page possible, Ragnar is shaking, like you can see.
And
It's
Ragnar
so
is huge.
cute. He looks so adorable, and he puts his body in the
squirrel
way,
is
and
absolutely
Loki's
massive.
like, get out of the way, you're gonna die. Jinbei comes in. Oh, I was talking so much trash about Jinbei in my review, and I am so glad Jinbei's actually acting like his bounty, actually acting like the legend
I've
he is.
never lost
First
faith
son
in
of the
Jinbei.
sea,
It's just
warlord, like
people
fought Ace to
were-
a standstill.
they
You know
were
what I mean?
antsy,
Legendary
and then,
fisherman.
Zoro
He
fans
comes
and
in
Sanji fans are
deflecting
really-
or just straight up stopping the Omen attacks. He uses the Hyojin Karate, and it's really funny because Loki says, "Show off." Which is funny. Again, shout out Jinbei. And I'll go to the next page. We see Luffy is very proud of Jinbei. He's like, nice job, Jinbei. Jinbei says something which I'm not sure. And then Loki here says, like, that guy's showing off. With Ragnar very impressed. It's really cool because you can see Jinbei, like, standing on Loki. And Ragnar's huge. I mean, look at the size difference between Ragnar and Jinbei. Kind of insane. Like, I know Ragnar's huge, but it's just funny seeing this giant mythical squirrel. Like, I'm not even kidding. Ragnar is the size of Kaido. No, he's actually bigger. I'm pretty sure he's bigger than Kaido. That's so crazy to think about, or at least they're the same size. But I really like it because Ragnar's so impressed with Jinbei. Just a cute page overall. And then we see some dialogue going on with Brook, Usopp, Brook saying something, and what Brook says is that
need to see
no one
Brook
is supposed to be
awakening.
above the Holy Knights, and it's only the 5 elders. So he incorrectly says, like, this must be a captain of the Holy Knights, which is absolutely hilarious. I think if Imu heard that, he probably would have lost his shit, because Brook doesn't know Imu is the king of the world. I think they actually talk about that, and Brook literally says, you know, the world government is a mysterious organization. Like, he guesses, is that a captain? He's not really too sure. It's not like he's saying it confidently. The ice melts enough, and Shuri is free, and they actually begin pulling her out. Now this is something really shocking. Imu thought that Gunko could not break out of the ice, which makes sense, Ragnar's ice is unthawable. He calls out to Gunko, Princess Shuri, and he says like the Afro guy is surprising. I'm not really too sure what that means, but Imu actually seems concerned about Gunko. Again, this reminds me of when he was concerned about Harold as well, like I lost a very strong knight. It seems like he's more concerned about them like they're his pets.
Him
like
blocking, whether it's still armament infused, but a Conqueror's infused attack from Luffy, or not, it doesn't matter. It's Gear 5 and it's armored. I mean, and it's like a genie form, which is probably stronger than his base Gear 5. Man, this Imu guy is. I'm gonna be honest. I know Blackbeard is in. This is probably a not surprising take, but I don't see a world where this guy is not the end villain. Like, just bar none. I'm sorry, he has to be.
But he is concerned about her. Luffy goes in with a massive fist, and Imu again effortlessly just deflects it like it's nothing, just with the palm of his hands. Kind of insane how he's doing it. And he uses the attack, it's called Gum Gum Opening Bullet, and Imu basically uses the bell and he puts the same mark that he put on Loki to finish him off on Luffy's beard in his genie form. And he asks Luffy, were you watching what happened to that giant Loki? Basically implying like, yeah, you're about to die, man. Which is funny because that's actually what's gonna happen soon. In any case, Luffy, he transforms back into his normal state in the next page, and because he went back like that, it's really strange to say the fire that was on his beard was on something that isn't on the normal Luffy. Like, the beard is just a Looney Tunes creation, so when he went back to normal, the mark also disappeared, and he was able to just barely dodge the attack, like barely, which very likely would have killed him. But the fire actually proceeds to chase Luffy around, and Luffy knows if this fire gets on me, I'm dead. Like, you can see the way he's running. And Imu transforms his, like, he spins the staff, you can see on the right side, throws a little omen, and then he mixes it with his ring on his back, and it comes out in a completely brand new weapon. This isn't so like crazy. He's making a temporary demonic flame sword or expanding his sword. He actually, for the first time, basically...
I've seen some theories saying that this sword is basically one of the 12 swords in his throne room, and they represent a kingdom, and these specific swords have some type of effect on the environment of some kind, which I don't even want to think about, because him having 20 additional aspects of his already broken ability is, yeah, holy.
He changed it, not like a flame attribute. He actually changed the physical properties of his weapon,
my God,
making a brand new just sword, like almost like a saber sword, like Shanks has. And he says that this is the Void Sword. The forest completely withers as he pulls this out. Like, this is probably a side effect of this sword. I don't know, man. Imu seems so crazy. I'm going to talk about it after I do this review because there's a lot to say. But in the next page, like, the forest almost begins changing, like
and
withering
away, which is crazy.
Around him. It's manipulating the environment, and Luffy also notices like the whole like area, almost the diameter around, or the sphere around him, like the Imu is all withered away, and I don't even know what happens. I mean, you can see for yourself this page, right? This double page spread, like Luffy's running around in the sky, and then it's almost like Imu vanishes, and then there's like a black dot on the top, and I think that's Imu, right? Because there's speech bubbles coming out of it. Luffy's stunned, and then I mean, Luffy is just stabbed through the chest.
Now this is the crazy part, because so let me go back a little bit. I mean, like, what can you say? This is essentially Luffy tried to run. He got speed blitz or speed perception blitz per se. And then
coming out, Luffy stunned, complete disgust. Probably because how like Luffy was joking about. I know you are not Joy Boy, and if you were Joy Boy, you wouldn't be this weak. And the chapter just ends there with him just cleanly stabbing Luffy through the chest. There's no mind games, there's no illusions or body doubles. Like, he's just straight stabbed through the chest. And I mean, I don't even know where to start. Like, first of all, we already knew Joy Boy was a lot stronger than Luffy, but I mean, how much weaker than Loki is Luffy? Luffy, which kind of shocks me. I'm like a very big Luffy fan, so I always scaled Luffy pretty close to Loki. I thought, maybe he got a lot stronger after Anakin, but it seems like it's not the case. It seems like Loki, even when he was on the absolute verge of death, was way stronger than Imu. I know Imu was monologuing against Loki, but that doesn't change the fact that Imu pulled out 50 different moves, and Loki was just like not only tanking but clashing equally with him. It just seems like Imu, even when he wasn't taking this fight seriously, he really wasn't. Like, it's just insane because I read this over a few times and I noticed there is no struggle with Imu, there is no seriousness.
He's
either.
not even
He's just like going dot, casually deflecting attacks, attacking Luffy
it's
like
so
casually, and it's terrifying because Imu is holding back in several ways while being nerfed. Like, forget the fact that he just came to the human world and he's already nerfed because like coming down is weakening him, and he's a lot nerfed because of whatever it is like in the lower realm. I don't know what it is exactly, but we just know he's very nerfed and he shouldn't be in the lower realm. But on top of that, he hasn't been using his magic book. The magic book that he used like when he brought out the pistol and all these special weapons, when he was like flip the giants over, he hasn't used that. Pulled this sword out for the first time, which seems to have unique effects affecting the environment, and it's like, what else is he hiding? He hasn't used his magic book. Does he have other weapons? Like, is this sword just one of many, like the spear that he used before? And the fact that he just defeated Luffy in such a fashion, like I told you guys in my 2 videos before, Luffy started this fight with full HP, full stamina, full strength. Oda made it clear as crystal. Like, Luffy specifically said, I don't even feel like I could lose. I have full power, I'm overwhelming with strength. Imu was already heavily nerfed, literally took hits from Loki, a cheap shot from Luffy, and isn't even using his full power and his full transformation. I want to remind you, we haven't seen Imu's full transformation yet. What we're seeing from Imu is either his base form, which might not be the case because like it looks different from the crown. It's probably his hybrid form what we're seeing right now. This is Imu's hybrid form, but he hasn't even used his full zone awakening, which he used against Sabo. So he's not using his magic book. He's not using his full zone ability, not even taking it seriously, probably hiding other weapons like this saber, and is already nerfed, and he defeated a Luffy with no nerfs, fully health, full HP, full strength, full stamina, no injuries.
Yeah, Luffy needs 2 things. He needs his full abilities,
this is the same Luffy who defeated Kaido, and he's definitely stronger than Kaido at this point. Like, could Kaido even last a chapter against Imu? Could Big Mom last a chapter against Imu? Like, it kind of
Kaido
makes
and Big
me
Mom
realize
together, maybe,
if it's really true that Shanks defeated Loki, which that's still up in the air on what really happened there.
I don't
but
believe
let's
Shanks
just
beat
assume
Luffy.
for now. Let's say that really happened, and that's how they chained Loki there.
I think it was at best a stalemate until like circumstances outside factors probably had them sit down and talk to each other, or like they were able to get Sea Stone.
See Loki just chaining himself. No matter what the real story is,
personally, I don't think Shanks
seems to be a lot stronger than Kaido or Big Mom. Like, I think it's beginning to make me realize how he so easily made Kaido back down from going to the War of the Best in Marineford. And it's kind of
my only thing with this Shanks, like, Oda needs to figure out what he's doing with Shanks. I'm gonna be real. Like, it's pretty annoying. He's so strong. He can do no wrong. He's godsend. He's perfect. His hair's fly. Like, but he got scarred by Blackbeard, and he's absolutely wary of him. Like, please, Oda, please figure it out. Like, I'm being honest. Is it Shanks's maybe like the second strongest or third strongest below Imu, or is he just a Blackbeard victim? Like, but granted, we have started to see attacks from Shanks, and the golden rule that I follow in One Piece is the less named attacks or basically story you've seen from the character, it's probably more likely that they'll be more prominent towards the end. So, well, the only thing people these don't apply to is I think Sasuke and a few others. Obviously the admirals, the God's Knights, because we have seen them besides Garland to an extent. So like I think they will have a role to play, but I think the other characters, I'm just more interested in the fact that there's less on like Blackbeard, Shamrock, Emu, honestly, Mihawk, and no, I would say even Kobe, other people. Like, I'm more excited that there's less material there because there's a lot of room. I'm not gonna say Dragon. Dragon to me is I'm not gonna say I won't call him useless. I'll call him
like, we are gonna need Shanks or Dragon to pull up because Loki's like on the verge of death. Luffy just got like, is it even a low diff or a no diff? I don't even know what to say.
This
I'm
was
gonna
a
say
low diff
because
no
at
matter
least
how
it took
many
a chap, but like no damage to Imu, nothing to him. Imu just casually destroyed.
Somebody called Luffy fans rubber riders. That was hilarious. I might steal that, but let's just say the Joy Boy Nika brigade is in shambles because sure Luffy's gonna come back and he's still getting no diff. Like I don't think you guys understand. This is a different level, but it is good to get it humbled a little bit because the One Piece fan bases can go far
with him. Let's say like a
far right
very
sometimes.
easy low diff for him. Someone's gonna
To
be
the
destroyed.
wrong,
Dragon of the Zazag God Fruit,
more like
or Shanks
obsession
pulling up. Who I mean,
opinions
if
of
the
just, like,
legends are true, like my God
Stan-ish.
King got to be like Loki level or something.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna save him because this is just crazy. But hey, let me know what you think in the comments down below. What a crazy chapter! Be sure to leave a like on the video,
Bizarre.
and of course subscribe for a ton of consistent quality One Piece content.
Alright, so that's the end of this video. I'm gonna be honest, that was pretty cool.